What's going on YouTube? Username Kite562 here, and I have another Beastars manga review for you, and it is of Volume 13. Now, as always, these reviews might contain some spoilers, but it won't be enough to ruin it for new readers, so just sit back, relax, and let me share my thoughts with you, and I hope you all enjoy the video. So anyway, Gosha and Legoshi finish off that gang of roosters from Volume 12 that started it all. So, yeah, Legoshi was surprised to see that Gosha has this ferocious side to him, even though Legoshi's only ever known this gentle, sweet, wholesome grandpa side of Gosha. So, Legoshi in turn wants to know more about his grandfather's past, and just, see how he became the grandpa that we all know and love today. After Gosha and Legoshi have their bonding grandson moment, and Legoshi wonders why Gosha always smiles at him, and Gosha replies with, "Does a grandfather need a reason to smile at his grandson?" or something around those lines. And I thought that was really sweet and really nice, and it just makes me love Gosha even more as a character. So anyway, after that whole meeting, Legoshi lets slip that he's been in love with the white dwarf rabbit Haru for some time, but he doesn't really say Haru's name, he just says a rabbit. And Gosha's kind of shocked and concerned for his grandson's sake that he might have inherited Gosha's love for other carnivore species, since Gosha has fell in love with a female wolf and ended up having Lugoshi'S mother. So anyway, I thought that was pretty funny with the way the panel depicts Gosha in the taxi cab after having a beer or two to drink a little too much, maybe, but his hands are clapped over his mouth like this, and his eyes are just so wide and expressive with shock. And Gosha is just a really cute character, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I just love him to pieces. I love both Legoshi, Gosha, just all around this volume alone. It was really delightful to me. So anyway, after Legoshi accepts a delivery for some udon, since Legoshi now works at a udon noodle shop as of Volume 12, Legoshi has to take a delivery to a marine animal's residence. Now, you may be thinking, what could be a marine animal? Well, an animal of the sea. See, the universe of Beastars is divided between animals of land and sea, and then animals that can deviate between land and sea, whatever that might be. So, yeah, we'll see. And I did not mean for all that to rhyme, but I'll keep it in anyway. So anyway, Legoshi meets Saguan, the spotted seal, after saving him from one of his fish customers and completing his delivery that he was ordered to do by his owl boss. I don't think his name is ever mentioned in this volume, but please let me know down in the comments below. So anyway, yeah, Legoshi meets Saguan, and it turns out they're neighbors in the same, complex, the same apartment complex, whatever you want to call it. And they just have a really nice, open discussion about how their lives are between both land and sea, since marine life has their own set of rules and language and currency even. See, after I think it was a koi fish that ordered the udon from Lugoshi'S workplace, he gave him a bunch of seashells as payment. And Saguan tells Legoshi that these seashells can be exchanged for land money, or whatever you want to call it, and they're very valuable. So I thought that was really interesting, and also sea life has their own series of beliefs that they believe that they live in a cycle of never-ending life and death. I have them written down here on my notes. So yeah, life and death is a never-ending cycle, according to Saguan, the spotted seal. And I just love this guy so much. I'm not going to spoil him too much. It's just, I really love him, Gosha, Legoshi within this volume. And this volume alone was an absolute delight to revisit, an absolute treat. So, anyway, as we go further within this volume, Seven and Legoshi go shoe shopping. Legoshi then saves Seven from carnivore co-workers that kind of been calling her lamb chopped thanks to her no good excuse for a boss. And then he moved Seven to that emotional support petting therapy animal role kind of thing, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, that happens. So Legoshi and Seven go shoe shopping, and Seven notices at how gentle Legoshi is, and Legoshi mentions to Seven that carnivores really don't want to be noticed by herbivores, and with all the flashy colors that carnivores are offered with, he feels like that gives them off as a warning. The flashy clothes and everything, because, you know, like bright neon stuff. Anyway, just all these different chapters within this manga volume alone were just a real treat and a real experience for me as a reader. So anyway, as we go even further within the manga volume, Gosha is surprised by the Beastar Yaya. Now, again, within Volume 12, Yaya and Gosha were aimed to be Beastars together when they were in their teens. But that didn't happen since Gosha fell in love with a female wolf after rescuing her and then ending up having Lugoshi'S mother. So that, in turn, leads to Yaya visiting Gosha at his apartment, and then Gosha is happy to see Yaya, so he ends up emitting a bunch of venom from his mouth, since according to him, Komodo dragons produce a lot of venom from their glands, whether they're surprised or happy about something happening. So I'm assuming Gosha was really happy to see his old friend, and it was just a really cute moment. But then Yaya had to go and ruin it and just end up Spartan kicking Gosha's door in, and just, you know, just ruining the wholesome moment. So Yaya ends up beating the crap out of Gosha in his own apartment, and just, you know, holds in a punch that he's been holding in for 35 years, I think it was. Yeah, 35. Again, let me know down in the comments below if I'm wrong. You know, I'm only human. So anyway, yeah, after their whole scuffle, Gosha ends up disinfecting Yaya's hands with venom disinfectant spray. Again, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Yaya's kind of annoyed with Gosha that he doesn't want him treating him like a child or just calling him a Beastar, and then Yaya ends up lashing out at Gosha that we should have became Beastars together, but then again, you had to fall in love with a female wolf all those years ago, and I just thought that was really interesting. So Gosha ends up mentioning that his grandson is Legoshi, and then Yaya ends up having an interest in Legoshi since Yaya knows of the gray wolf who committed predation, which was Legoshi who ate Louis' leg during the fight with Riz. And that just sparks Yaya's interest even more throughout this manga volume. But I'll leave it at that. So, as I've reread again throughout the manga, Legoshi then beats up a carnivore drug dealing gang dealing BB. Like, I'm assuming like near an alley where he lives. So BB is like a mixture of herbivore blood and bone, and it's just really fascinating because it doesn't really affect Legoshi at all. Like, after what he's been through with Riz and then eating Louis' leg during that fight from volume 11, and it's just really interesting to see how much Legoshi's character growth has expanded over the span of only 2 volumes. So anyway, yeah, Legoshi ends up kicking ass 2 ways from Sunday with these guys, these leopard drug dealers dealing BB and then spiking it in like carnivore energy drinks. And it's just a really interesting world concept with this going on, because Legoshi ends up protecting, like, beating up these guys for the sake of protecting herbivores. And it's just really fascinating at how his mindset, Lugoshi's mindset, goes within this series. So with that going on, after Legoshi recovers from the police station, since after the fight they all get arrested, Legoshi gets cleared, Louis ends up paying a visit to Legoshi, and they end up having a really hilarious talk, because Louis brings Legoshi a nice little gift snack, so he just kind of gives a little hilarious speech of like, hey, what do you want? Fruit jelly, sponge cake, or me? And Legoshi just ends up spewing out his water and coughing. He's like, how could you say something like that? And I just think it was really funny, because the smile that's just illustrated on Louis' face is just absolutely delightful to see. But according to Louis, he'll be starting college next month, so they have a time to catch up, and Legoshi ends up confessing to Louis that he loves herbivores, and he's like, dude, everybody knows that you have a herbivore fetish. Even at Cherryton, even your homies in 701, they all know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So anyway, after that, my 11th point, Legoshi receives a supply of mochi rice cakes, so he decides to share it with the other residents of the Beast apartments. And I just thought this was a really nice, intriguing way. Like, we get to see more characters. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but I know it's a pig, a bear, and then an eagle, and I think a squirrel or a chipmunk at the end, and they all help each other out, and they have all their own little interesting backstories to them, but I really don't want to ruin it here for the reviews. But please definitely check out the Beastars manga. It is really great. I know season 2 of the anime is out there on Netflix, but definitely check out the manga. I am really enjoying it. Both sides have their own strengths and weaknesses, but I'll probably make that into a video of its own. So anyway, my overall thoughts for this chapter, I give it a 9.5 out of 10, because you get to see a lot of character development, new character introductions, and you get to see Legoshi develop as a person within this society, and you get to see the world itself evolve and expand to like different cultural beliefs, as with the routine of the sea life and everything, like fish or Saguan. So yeah, also during this chapter, Legoshi and Saguan finally become friends, but I'm really not going to tell you the juicy details of it, so definitely check out the manga of Beastars, because again, I give volume 13 a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed rereading this volume. As always, Beastars is written and illustrated by Paru Tagaki and published by Viz Media. And this is Kite562 signing out, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, everybody. Later.